Hey guys, some months ago I was honored to face one of the most famous chess commentators. I'm talking about the Spanish Grandmaster Pepe Cuenca. In this position as white, I played queen e4, and I thought I was going to win this game. I'm threatening this cupboard, getting the queen on d7, also I'm threatening the bishop on b4. What did Pepe play in this position? We'll analyze it right now, but first let's see how we got here. Keep watching. So I played my favorite English opening, and he's going to play a King's Indian system against English. So the game goes like this: g3, bishop g7, bishop g2, he castled, e3, e5, knight e2, and d6. Of course, this is a position we both know very well. At this point, I castled, and he played knight c6. I played d3, and then bishop e6. We have to say that in the moment we played this game, it was like round number 8. I really needed to win this game. So I was facing a grandmaster, and I needed to beat him because I was trying to get my third international master norm, and winning this game was the only chance to stay with some possibilities to get that norm. So I played this game with the mindset live or die. So I didn't want to draw, I wanted to complicate the game, I wanted a sharp game and see what happened, but I really needed this point. So the game was like knight d5, queen d7, knight ec3, and we are still in a very well known ground. Something interesting is that during the game I remembered I had played this position against the strong grandmaster Eduardo Iturrizaga like in 2004, but with opposite colors. So in that game many years ago I was as black, and I was remembering some of the moves Iturrizaga had played, and I could follow the game. It's a position I know very well, and also Pepe played the moves I had played in that game. So the game was like bishop a3. I took the knight on f6, which is a very nice idea, because then when white plays knight d5, we're attacking the bishop and we're attacking c7 at the same time. c7 is protected, but if we want, we can deflect the queen, and then we are taking the pawn on c7. That's why black in this position is to put the bishop on d8, and this is a little strange because now the rooks are disconnected and the bishop is not protecting the fianchetto. It's not going to be a big deal, but it's a little unnatural, we could say. The game continues here with b4, bishop takes g2, king takes g2, and then f5. In the game I mentioned, Iturrizaga against me played f4 that time. However, I played something different, bishop d2. Both moves are more or less fine, but now we are playing a different game here. Black played knight e7, and I went back to c3. The idea is that I didn't want to trade pieces because I saw his pieces were blocking each other, and I didn't want to help him to improve his position. So I just went back to c3, and he played f5. At this point I played f4, which is a very typical idea in these positions. Since black is threatening f4 right now, and the queen is going to be better, the rook is also going to be better, and the pawn is going to f3, which is not great for white. So very often to stop this advance we need to play f4 in these positions, and he's playing here knight g6, which is interesting because now the bishop is protecting the pawn on g5, but also the knight is a little better. I traded on g5, and then I played queen h5, which is very interesting because now I'm getting the tempo, I'm improving my queen, but also I have some very nice pressure here on f5. This is a pawn that is not protected by our pawns, so the pressure on f5 could be very annoying for black. Black plays here bishop e7, and I played rook f2, preparing to double rooks over here. Here Pepe played c6, which is very interesting. It's controlling d5, but also is preparing to advance the central pawns and also improving the bishop. I played rook a f1, and black played here d5. He's getting the pawn here on b4, but I thought the position was actually very interesting after the trade. I captured the pawn on f5, there was another trade, and then the capture on b4. I thought this position was good for me, since the bishop is unprotected here on b4, the king is a little discovered, my pieces are active, so I really liked this position. I had already calculated the move I played here, and it was this queen g4, and I thought he was in trouble here, since I'm threatening rook f8 and getting the queen, and also I'm threatening queen takes bishop. For example, if the queen moves somewhere, I could be taking the bishop hanging on b4. At this point, Pepe found the only move keeping black still in the game. Just to show you how complicated is this position for black, let's analyze, for example, rook d8. This is a very logical move, just improving the rook, defending the queen. Here I could play h4, and this position is really bad for black. I'm threatening h5, then I will have to go back. The bishop is still hanging in many lines, and there are still ideas with the rook going to f8 getting the queen, because I could be deflecting the rook in some lines. So that position is clearly better for white. But also, for example, if black plays here queen d6, they could be in trouble. They are defending the queen, they are defending the bishop. But there is this move, knight b5. Then I'm attacking the queen. Also, I'm attacking twice the bishop on b4. So this is winning for white. And finally, if the king comes here to g7, now the discovered is not working because the queen can't take. Also, the capture should not be working because the rook is hanging. However, it's actually working because I can take, and then I can take here on b7, getting the rook on a8. So that could be winning for white. So at this point, actually, Pepe, as I was saying, found the only move keeping the game more or less equal. This move is a defensive idea, but at the same time it's creating many hidden threats. I was a little confused, a little shocked when I saw the move, and I couldn't find the best way to play after this. The move he played here is king h8, and now rook f8 is not working because he can't capture with the knight defending the queen. Now queen takes bishop is not working because he can just take the rook on f5. But besides, he's creating many threats. Just to mention some of the threats, black could be playing here knight h4, and if we take with the queen, the rook could be hanging on f5. If we take with the pawn, there could be rook g8 pinning the queen over there. Also, another idea is to play d4, for example, and after pawn takes, there could be a trade here, and then check, getting bishop, and of course attacking the king at the same time. So suddenly the position is very complicated for me. As I said, I couldn't find a good reply here. I was a little shocked with the move. So I just played here queen f3. I saw I was going to lose the exchange here with knight f4, but I thought I could have some compensation after rook takes and then queen takes pawn. I saw I was attacking the bishop on b4. Also, I saw the king very discovered on a dark squares diagonal, and I thought this position was still playable. So I sacrificed the exchange in that line, but actually he played in a very high level in the next moves. He found the move here d4, which is very interesting because now my bishop is not going to be improving too much in the next moves, and also this diagonal is going to be open. I played here knight e4, probably not the best move. He traded, and he traded again. Now he played rook d8, which is a very normal move, and I play knight f3. The problem here is that he shouldn't capture the pawn on d3, because if he plays that, I can play check, and if he comes here, I can play check. The king can never come up because there is a fork getting the queen on d3, so I should have a draw in this position. However, he didn't fall for this. He's going to play here the move queen d5, pinning the knight. I played queen e2, rook f8. There are some moves here I was trying to get out of the pin, but he started to play where he has the advantage on the queen side, where he can create a passed pawn and win the game more or less easily. I continued with queen e3 and knight e5. This is a tricky idea here. Of course, I didn't give up at this point. I wanted to save the game at least and get a draw. And the idea at this point is that if black plays here a4, which is a mistake, I have this nice move, knight g6. Here I'm getting the rook with a fork, but if he takes, then there is perpetual check with queen h6 and then queen g6. Of course, Pepe didn't fall for this. He found the trick. He played here queen d6, and well, the game continued with d4 and then king h3 going out of the pin. But this was more or less simple for him. He played b3, sacrificing one pawn to get and advance the other pawn to get the promotion. So actually I was already lost here. I didn't have any real chance in the rest of the game. So at this point I resigned here. If you guys have any question, let me know in the comments. I will be happy to interact over there. Thank you, like, subscribe, see you on the next.